On June 9th, 2026, Los Angeles police officers pulled up to a parked pickup truck on an industrial block off Washington Boulevard. 19 minutes later, one of those officers was on the ground with a bullet stopped by his vest. The department released about 6 minutes of video about it. What those 6 minutes actually contain, and what they quietly compress, is more interesting than the headline. So we read the clock in the corner of every shot, and it turns out the release is not what it looks like. This is the front end of it. 13:46 in the afternoon, a gray pickup parked on a temporary paper plate, and a man standing in the roadway at the driver's door. Officers said they could see a handgun on him. There's a body camera cut spliced in through here, and that is an officer stepping out of the car to approach. The moment they moved in, the driver put the truck in gear and went. And read the caption along the bottom of the frame while this runs. No audio captured during 1-minute buffer period. That is not a redaction. That is the hardware. These cameras record continuously into a silent loop, and the microphone only opens the moment an officer actually presses record. On the in-car units, that deaf window is 1 minute. On the body cameras in this same release, the caption says too.
Stop it right here. 13:47:23. Read the caption.
13A9, in pursuit of a 415 man with a gun. 415 is the California Penal Code section for disturbing the peace. So, a 415 man with a gun is a disturbance call with a firearm attached. And the 13 is Newton Division, which is exactly the division the department's own write-up says these officers came from. The radio and the paperwork agree. Now here's the thing you only notice if you watch the clock. Everything up to this point runs continuously. 66 real seconds, 69 seconds of video, basically 1-to-1. 6 seconds after this frame, that stops. The corner jumps to 13:49, then 56, then 57, 58, and 14:01. Roughly 14 minutes of vehicle pursuit handed to you as 5 disconnected snippets in about 20 seconds of screen time. That is not a cover-up, and it is worth being fair about it. Critical incident videos are edited down deliberately, and a long pursuit is mostly uneventful driving that nobody needs to sit through. But you should know the shape of what you have been handed. This is a 25-minute event presented in 6, and virtually all of the compression lands on the stretch where nobody was hurt. The pursuit ends here in the Hollenbeck area, and it ends the way most of them end. The cloud of dust climbing the embankment is the truck going through a fence. The driver is out and moving before the dust has finished settling. The unit calling the description is Air 3. That is the department helicopter feeding the suspect's clothing down to officers on the ground who cannot see him yet.
Freeze. 14:05:41. This is 9 seconds before the shooting, and it is the last frame of this incident we are going to put on screen.
Here is why this whole section feels so disorienting the first time through. Every single timestamp in it falls between 14:05 and 10, and 14:05 and 57. 47 seconds. The release spends more than 4 minutes there. Because you're not watching 4 minutes of incident. You are watching the same 47 seconds, again and again. 4 separate in-car cameras, then at least 8 different body cameras, each one rewinding to just before the crash and running the whole thing over. A dozen devices, or more, pointed at one very short event. In the next 9 seconds, the man turns and fires at the officers behind him. One round strikes an officer in the chest. Officers return fire. He goes down, and the handgun lands on the pavement beside him. You do not have to watch that to understand it, so we are stopping the footage where it is. The round that hit the officer did not get through his vest. He was taken to a hospital, treated, and released with injuries the department described as non-life-threatening. That is the entire job of soft body armor, and this is what a save looks like in the paperwork. A handgun round at close range turned into a bruise and a very bad afternoon instead of a funeral. The driver, 35-year-old Marco Flores, was struck multiple times, came through surgery, and is expected to survive. The pickup came back as a reported stolen vehicle. The handgun was recovered at the scene and booked into evidence. Nobody else was injured. He has been charged with 4 felony counts of attempted murder, 6 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm on a peace officer, 3 more the same against civilians, felony evading, and possession of a firearm by a felon. Convicted as charged, that is multiple life sentences. These are allegations. He has not been convicted of any of it. The footage here was released by the Los Angeles Police Department under its critical incident policy. The timeline reconstruction, the camera count, and the commentary are ours. If that is the kind of breakdown you want more of, subscribe.